Later on in this, the bag, the cat's out of the bag. I'll say this: the first person that touches me is getting hit in the face. You will overpower me. It's going to happen. But don't send an airman up first just to take the So while I was up here, I was on my phone. It was because it was really important what I was doing. And multiple people in this crowd texted me to stop being on my phone. But I was writing my speech. Listen. If you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute. I don't know how many times I have to say this. That's why I react quickly and make changes to my decisions on a regular basis. I am humbled. Since the day I walked into the United States Air Force, I was in that recruiter's office at 16 years old. I signed up in the DEP at 17 years and 6 days old. I always knew that I wanted to be in the Air Force. And this is going to get really uncomfortable because I'm going to say some things that people wouldn't say in an open forum like this. Okay? So if I break down, you guys just make some noise and make me feel less comfortable when I'm crying and shit, okay? There may be some F-bombs. I apologize up front, but it's for effect. It's not because I have a poor vocabulary. Thanks, man. Or was that? I'm sorry. Where's Luke? My bad. My therapist asked me to write down the things that I value and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. And I was like, well, I don't know why we always do things in 1 to 10. Like, can I put it on a scale of 1 to 33? I mean, what's the difference, right? And it is this: the values that I hold true: dependability, transparency, loyalty, work ethic, selflessness, fitness. You might not be able to tell at this point. This damn suit is tight. It's tight. And preparedness. And there's 4 men in this room that I want to recognize specifically that I think hold those values pretty close. And I'm not kidding. I just wrote this right, like as I was sitting there, because I didn't know what I was going to do with my feelings in this forum. We started at 11:45, right? You guys put it on your calendars for at least an hour, right? Okay. So there's a whole bunch of burgers and whatnot. I'm going to go off track. This is how I do things. You guys should see my staff meetings. It's incredible. It is incredible that people remain focused while Albert's falling asleep in the corner. But I love you. We have a whole bunch of 40 pounds of meat that came from the Schindler family farm. And I'll tell you, my wife doesn't eat beef. But as long as it has a name, then she'll partake every once in a while. These cows had names, right? So I hope you stick around. I appreciate all the work that went into getting this thing set up. And the decorum would say I recognize all the people up front that are important to these proceedings. I want to highlight 2 officers that are important to cherish. And those are the 2 gentlemen that were up here that did a flag folding. 2 captains that I worked with at the 26th Special Tactics Squadron. And Colonel, Chief, Colonel, Chief. You guys are already committed. Who we got to worry about is the captains and the master sergeants and the tech sergeants and my buddy Juan Miranda decided to get out at 15 years. I love you. But those are the people that we should be recognizing. The people that have the choices to be here or not. I'm institutionalized. So those 4 men I want to briefly discuss. It's my dad. It's gonna
Hal, there's no crying in baseball. You're killing me.
I call him Hal. I've never called you Dad except for once, and it felt real awkward. You took on a single mother with 2 kids. Matt Rowland, screw you. He's not here, but he did the same stuff in front of 2 congressmen that he made me preside over his retirement, and he cried like a little baby. So, it's a standard, right? You took on a single mother with 2 kids. This man is the hardest working person I've ever met in my life, and I guarantee you, Ken can attest to this, and there's other folks that have been out on my farm. Their farm, not my farm. I get, at some point, I get the farm. But, you're the hardest working man that I could ever imagine. You were an example. You always were an example. He worked 5 weeks on, 5 weeks off for decades in the oil field. You want to talk about hard people? You want to talk about people that sacrifice? In the military, we get handed a lot of damn things. We're treated as these special entities that we have all these skills and whatnot. The men and women, mostly men, that work on the oil derricks, that dude was working on oil rigs when he was 16 years old on the night shift, and then he'd go in Nebraska, which on a regular basis is 40 knot winds, and then he'd go to high school, and then he'd get out of school and he'd go back and work on the oil rigs. That's hard. When I was 11 years old, we decided the IRS wasn't friendly to folks that worked overseas. They weren't friendly to our family. We moved overseas. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. We each had 2 suitcases. That's all we owned. We moved to Spain. We moved to Karachi, Pakistan. We were evacuated during the Gulf War, so we moved back to Nebraska, then back to Pakistan. We moved to Jakarta, Indonesia. We were on vacation at Disney World in between some times, and we got a phone call at Disneyland saying, "You're not going back to Jakarta. You're going to Dubai." With two children, he made decisions for our family that are extremely difficult to make, right? So, but I'll tell you how, and I'm going on. I apologize. You guys ready for at least another 20 minutes, right? I love you. I'm proud to call you my father. All right. I should have ended with you because now it's going to be anticlimactic. By the way, you're all invited to my house after this because there's plenty of libations and other what did the chaplain say? Liquids that make you warm. I don't know what are you talking about? All right. Another man I'd like to recognize is my father-in-law, Don. You always treated me like a son. You always treated me with respect when I didn't treat you sometimes with respect. And I respect the hell out of you. I'm proud to call you my father. So with that, I'm going to do this. It's going to get awkward. I'm sorry. If you have to go to the restroom or you just don't want to watch these proceedings, then please leave. Thank you. It's engraved.
It's engraved.
Stand up. Stand up. All right. The other two people I want to recognize is this man. There's a whole lot of people I want to recognize. Just so the airmen in the back are like, why the hell am I sitting here? There's people in this room that I went to indoctrination course with. There's people in this room that I've known for 28 years. There's people, mentors, leaders, squadron commanders, that are like one of my first instructors that I ever had the pleasure of enduring many years or many hours of pain with is sitting in this room, and I'm not going to recognize all those folks, but I do fucking care. And my mother and sister hate it when I cuss. They hate it, but I do it for effect. I love you. Right here. This man on the stage, Travis Woodworth, saved my life. He saved my career and he saved my marriage. Because he cares about people. He took a broken man and invited him into his home when he saw that I was struggling. And I said, no, man, I can't do that. We really didn't know each other that well. And he said, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. I was going through a rough patch in my life, and I was making some stupid decisions. He moved me into his room, in his spare bedroom, and you showed me the way. You showed me how to be a great leader. I'm not a great leader. You're a great leader. That's not what that wasn't where I was going with that. You're the man. All right. The fourth man in this room that I want to talk about is my son Travis. On Monday, he's going to the hotel to check in, and he's enlisted in the United States Air Force. I'm proud of you, son. You saved my life as well. So the story gets weird. Katie and I were TDY here in San Antonio for a conference when we were first standing up the dive school in Panama City, and she was 29, 30 weeks pregnant. But I think it was just inside of 30 weeks pregnant. And she said, I don't feel well. So we stopped at Walmart, and those blood pressure machines at Walmart, they work. And like when you're not feeling well, it's really cool to just go in there and be like, where am I at? We did that, and her blood pressure was like 220 over
120.
220 over
120.
120. Thank you. I looked for corrections. I do. So we took her to the hospital, and Travis was born 10 weeks early. And that's all well and good. Lots of people have premature children, and we just go through life, right? But my dumb ass, the body in motion stays in motion, right? I live by that, or I used to. I haven't been doing it very well lately. I was going to school full time. I owned a lawn business with 25 customers, and I was the NCOIC of pre-scuba at Herbert Field. 3 days after my son was born, 10 weeks early, and my wife was still in the hospital. I thought it was more important to drive back to Florida to mow lawns for my customers. So then I just solicited support from the student body and at the SDTS so they could mow the lawns for me. But no, what happened was, we talk about standards. Ken Human at his retirement talked about standards. Some people say we haven't reduced our standards. The reason why I drove back 12 hours, I got out of the truck after I drove 12 hours from my wife and son in the hospital, was because I had to lead a 9-mile required formation run with our students. I thought it was more important to lead a formation run of students than have time with my family. That's pretty screwed up, isn't it? I told you it's going to get awkward. And you know what? That was a requirement, so we did it. And you know who? I led that, and I didn't have a train of ambulances behind us for all the people that fell out. They all held the standard, and they ran those 9 miles. I was hyped up on Mountain Dew and just pure hate. Anyways, here's where I'm going back to Travis. That was on a Friday afternoon, and I got a call Saturday morning saying that Katie had complications and she was going into she was going to have a hard time. There was a possibility of her passing. So I got back in the car and I drove back to San Antonio to be by their side, and it was the first time that. So Travis is sitting in an incubator, and I just stopped. And for 4 weeks, we watched him grow slowly, and I was like, shit, I've got a bachelor's degree, I'm getting my master's, I'm going up. What am I going to do with my life? Because I was making some bad decisions. There's a theme here: some bad decisions. Is this awkward? Sorry. But I got to stop for the 4 weeks and watch him grow, and that's when I decided I was going to become an officer. And I had a flight commander say, "Well, hey, if you want to be an officer, why don't you just be a STO?" And I was like, "Why? Do you want me to be a STO?" Anyways, Travis, you did that. You made me prioritize what was important, and I couldn't be prouder of you. All right, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, Dad.
I really should have took more notes when I was sitting up here. Becky, my older sister. When we moved overseas, we didn't have anybody. We were homeschooled at first. We were literally playing. I told you two suitcases. We would play. We would have rolled up socks, and we would throw them into drawers for points because there was a lot of. When we lived in Spain, there wasn't a lot of entertainment. We could watch the Golden Girls in Spanish, but we didn't speak Spanish, so it was really weird. But along with those two suitcases, I don't want to. I'm going to go on a different. You made me a better person, Becky. All the things you did wrong, I was like, I'm never doing that. That's dumb. That's so dumb. She also is a huge bully. She had all of her boyfriends hold me down, and we were swimming in a pool one day, and she would. I swear to God, she paid these goons. To beat me up, and we were in a pool, and I came jumping out of the pool that they were drowning me. And that's why I have good water confidence. But bolted out of the water. I was 2 feet above, and I made this wild swing to hit the man that was killing me. And then direct contact with my sister's face. And I love, actually, the 4 weeks of that black eye it's a fond childhood memory. Damn. I love you. We got gifts, right? Okay, yeah. I have gifts for all the women in my family. But thanks for being you, Beck. I'm not going to tell the altruistic story, but you are altruistic. Mom, you held down the fort. Like my dad was gone 5 weeks on, 5 weeks off. We took the family to literally. I was in 6 different schools in 4 years, and you held down the fort. You held down the fort. You allowed him to be the man that he wanted to be in the way that he needed to be, and you still do that today. You showed me how to be a good father. You showed me how to have compassion. I love you, Mom. All right, Katie. Woo! She's so hot. Oh my God. I don't know if you got. Wow. She's so. Wow. Hey, was there anybody in here that saw the night that we met? Greg, were you there that night? Oh my God, we made out for like uncomfortably like an hour and a half at the bar. It was so sloppy. Oh my God. Wayne tried to pick her up. It didn't work out. She doesn't like blue eyes, Wayne. She wants a real man. What was really cool is I thought her name was Kelly. For like 5 minutes, because I got confused. I was dating a lot of women at the time. But anyways, trying to lighten the mood. But from that moment, like 5 minutes later, I knew her name was Katie, but I kept on, because I'm fucking hilarious. Again, it's for effect. It's not because I'm unprofessional. Is this live, Facebook? Oh, damn. I kept calling her Kelly. It was super funny. When I would call and leave messages, we used to have these things like answering machines, and you'd play a tape, whatnot. It was great. So I kept calling her Kelly. She didn't think it was funny at all. She also didn't like the smell of my feet. I think after a time, it's just odor. You stop smelling certain odors. You know what I mean? But I have pheromones, and I think, anyways. So. So everyone asked me what I'm going to do for my next career. Stand-up is the thing that I'm really kind of doing. You guys are giving me is fucking deadpan in here. I'm sorry, honey. We've had some tough times. Either I can't find a better woman, or I'm too lazy to really leave you.
It's more like
I can't imagine being with another woman. I love you.
love you too.
Is it awkward yet?
No, you're good.
So the tradition is normally you give flowers to folks that you, the female
Side.
yeah, lost for words. But Katie hates flowers, and they only last for about 3 days in Texas heat. So
You're excited.
all right.
Yeah.
All right, so I talked about the values, I talked about the women, and the men.
Yeah.
And then it says Cheez-Its and Glade plugins with lavender. I'm like,
That's what you.
long list. Damn it, I'm funny. Hey, Chaplain Spurgeon, I appreciate your comedy. Pfeiffer, literally the reason why Pfeiffer is like, I can't sing. But he likes to be the center of attention. But that's what happens when you lose a bet. Right? So that's what we're doing. Where am I at? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? It's a good thing that I care a lot because I don't know a whole hell of a lot, right? I think that we have a large, I'm not going to go political. I'm not going to go there. I am humbled by the people that I've been allowed to operate around for my entire career. People that are way better than me, that sometimes don't know their value or what they bring to the fight because they're just either they're trying to prove something to themselves or something to somebody else. I'm amazed at the quality of individuals in the special warfare community, combat controllers specifically. I saw this podium, and Ron, we kind of messed it up. Yeah. Saw this podium with the PJ flash on there, and I respect the hell out of PJs. I love you. But damn it, this looks better, doesn't it? Nate, I love you. Nate Cox was on my indoctrination team, and I just bring you up because every time I see you, I was such a faster runner than him. You look a lot better now, but like back then, you were just eating my dust. Anyways, okay, we're right over we're 3 minutes over an hour, so. As I did in my change command, I'm going to go 10 minutes over what I'm supposed to do, and then we'll move on. I'm humbled. By the people that can go into the crappiest situations and make calm out of chaos. People that can communicate. They communicate. Then they move. And then they shoot. What morons? And I'm going to, it's trademarked right here, right now. I'm writing a book. What morons would say I'm going to shoot first, then I'm going to move, and then I'm going to communicate? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. My dad, we have a heated debate about this with my father. But you're going to communicate first. But teammates like Ken Human and Air Force Cross recipient Rob Gutierrez. Teammates like Rick, teammates like Juan, all my teammates in here that have gone countless deployments and been responsible for the deaths of thousands of enemy, while trying to be compassionate, while trying to provide the diplomacy associated with what makes things right when we leave, wherever it is that we go and break things and kill bad people, right? That is hard. You flip that switch, and you come home, and then you're just supposed to turn it off. You're supposed to turn it off. I road rage so hard. I mean, I road rage now, but like, there's things that we need to be able to identify amongst our peers, amongst our teammates and their friends, when things are going a little bit south. But I'm humbled by the ability for those folks that deployed a hell of a lot more times than I did. One of the hardest things that I ever had to do is when. So I give my beret to my son, and there's an old tradition, and I don't even know where it came from, but you tie a knot in the thread that's at the back of your beret for every teammate that you've lost. And I got to 10 close teammates that I've lost in my career, and I know the mantra that you die twice. One when you leave the physical world, and the second time is when their names are last spoken. I'm not going to say their names here, but I tied 10 knots, and I got real emotional about it. But the hardest one, by far, was Tim. He's a great man. He was a better man than me. I was an instructor, and I was tasked with providing a class on land navigation. And Tim had spent multiple years after he couldn't be a PJ. I'll put that out there. But he spent multiple years as a SEER instructor, and he kept complaining that I wasn't teaching the class right. So I just said, "All right, get up here and teach it yourself," which he did. But it was super hard for me in that he was not only a teammate, we were deployed together. But I got medevaced out of Afghanistan, and I arrived home on the 17th of February in 2009. I had a lot of stuff going on medically, and 3 days later I got a phone call that we lost Tim, and we went into action to try and take care of the family. Noel and Sally, I really appreciate you being here. So we tried to do our best, and I made some mistakes. But you taught me how to be the right type of Air Force officer to handle that situation. But as I was traveling, the reason why the flag folding in the citation, it said that the flag was flown in my honor by Ken Human and his team in Afghanistan in 2011, and that's because I was going to retire in 2011 because of this medical situation. So we had moved to San Antonio, and I was driving a U-Haul from Florida to Texas, and I had a lot of time to think during that time, and I said we could walk this. In my head, I was like, yeah, why don't we just lost Tim, and like, how do we honor Tim? He really loved to ruck, and what he loved most is looking at people struggling while rucking, and he would just laugh. I mean, it was hilarious. But I was like, we can walk it. So my first phone call was to Ken, and I said, hey, do you think we can get 12 guys together? I've got an idea. We're gonna walk from San Antonio to Florida to honor Tim. And it was my effort to try and keep a hold of a friend that was lost, right? And we did it. And it was really difficult to do it. Ken put together a great plan. We were on day 3 of that plan. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, God. I'm not going to go into that. It was a great story. I'm not going to go there. Sorry. But I missed him every day. Yeah. So it was really and I'm sorry. It's going on too long. I know you're getting uncomfortable. You're getting uncomfortable. I'm trying to decide. Well, I'm dancing around because I don't know if I want to say this in public or not. But there's a theme here I was talking about. There's the things that we deal with, and I've been dealing with some of those things. And everyone keeps asking me what I'm going to do after I retire, and I don't know. And that's because I got to figure out who Sam Schindler is. After 29 years of military service, I'm institutionalized. That's the only thing I recognize. I identify as is a military service member, and in the best damn job that you could ever expect to have. As a combat controller, the stove thing, it's on the side, but and it's not because of the job, it's because of the people that you're surrounded by, right? So what am I doing? I'm going to spend, right after Travis heads off to BMT, I'm going to go to a treatment center that handles substance abuse, PTSD issues, transition issues at a place called Wounded Heart, Warrior's Heart, up in Bandera. And I'm gonna spend 6 weeks there to try and find myself, so that I can be a better husband, so I can be a better father, so I can be a better brother, and be a better man. And I was hitting the last 30 minutes of me talking was me trying to waste time to see if I was going to say that out loud.